Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is now just a little under 1 month away from its official release by Disney, Lucasfilm, J.J. Abrams, and even creator George Lucas. That is all sitting ready to end the Skywalker saga and the sequel trilogy itself. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, one thing about Episode 9 that a lot of fans are either very excited about or worried about when it comes to this movie is exactly how JJ is going to utilize all of the different connections to the prequels, the originals, and other existing Star Wars canon and lore that's actually going to make its way into Episode 9 that's going to serve as a way to benefit the characters of Rey, Kylo Ren, and others from start to finish of this movie. Now, this film does have a lot going for itself because a lot of fans are looking forward to seeing exactly how Palpatine will fit into the story and exactly how J.J. Abrams will use this character in Episode 9. That's another thing to really imagine, is exactly how Palpatine is going to really compare to how he was used in Return of the Jedi and Revenge of the Sith, per se. Now, with that being said, we do know that Disney and Lucasfilm went through major shifts during the months of August, September, and October. Even J.J. Abrams the other day on Good Morning America admitted that they reshot the movie all the way until October of this year. Many different scenes were reshot and changed and deleted and replaced, etc. Now, what's really intriguing and very unfortunate that has all to do with the character of Anakin Skywalker, portrayed by Hayden Christensen, is that it's explained that during many of the changes and adjustments for the film, during the months of August, September, and October, is when many changes were made to the second and third acts of the movie. It's said that Disney and Lucasfilm, as well as Kathleen Kennedy, wanted a different approach with the film and its tone for the general audience, and that along with that decision, many complete and incomplete scenes were sacrificed by getting deleted or reworked into the film. It's said that one of the key scenes was said to involve the character of Anakin Skywalker, portrayed by Hayden Christensen, within a sequence as a Force ghost where he was going to appear in front of Ben Solo, who was injured by the hands of Palpatine by using his Force conduit technique on Ben Solo that drains his energy from within. It's explained that the scene was nearly complete and passed midway through production, and that the segment entailed a moment in which Anakin's Force Ghost would place his hands on Ben Solo's back as he was laying on the ground, where Kylo would awaken and take on Palpatine to fight Sidious and destroy the Sith once and for all. However, it's explained that Kathleen Kennedy and Disney wanted a completely different approach to this scene that would involve Rey getting energy from Anakin instead, where now only his Force Ghost voice is heard, and that he does not appear in the ending of the movie, where now it's actually said to be that point to where Anakin is said to allow Rey to become the Chosen One, as she will be the one to destroy the Sith once and for all. Now, Anakin's scene with Ben Solo was cut and deleted, also due to some of the reshoots that took place during those months, and that Hayden Christensen was said to do an excellent job, and that John Williams had even composed a theme dedicated to Anakin's ghost offering energy to Ben Solo to fight Palpatine inside of his throne room. Both Anakin and Ben Solo originally were going to have a brief moment of looking at each other in close proximity before Anakin Skywalker would vanish, allowing him to fight Sidious, where Kylo was said to be the one to kill Palpatine because of Anakin's help. This scene was completely cut from the film. So I want to go over a couple of parts about this and as to why this is a terrible decision by Disney and Lucasfilm once again. It once again proves that Disney and Lucasfilm don't necessarily understand Star Wars and exactly what it really means, and I think the choices that they are making really don't have great purpose behind it all and doesn't really make a lot of sense. George Lucas has said repeatedly, several times, that Anakin Skywalker is and will always be the Chosen One, no ifs, ands, or buts, and now it's actually going over to Rey. And I just don't understand that as to why Rey would become the Chosen One, because Anakin Skywalker allows her to take on that title, because he is offering her some of his own energy from the netherworld of the Force. I think the thing that really is going to be a big letdown for fans is the fact that, originally speaking, for the very end of Episode 9, Anakin's Force Ghost was going to appear in an actual form of a body in front of Ben Solo, placing his hands on Ben Solo's back, literally reviving him almost, to the point where he's able to stand back up and fight Palpatine after getting drained of his energy from Sidious by using that Force conduit technique, where Anakin would then allow Kylo Ren to destroy the Sith once and for all, where now it has been diminished to the point where Rey is actually going to get the Chosen One title, and Anakin Skywalker as a Force Ghost can only be heard in the form of a voice, basically giving her energy for the netherworld of the Force. The problem I have with this is a lot of it has to do with the Chosen One concept being transferred over to Rey. I feel that through all the enemies that Palpatine has fought, whether it be Yoda or Savage Opress and Maul and all these different characters that we have seen in the current canon material, the fact that Rey is the one to destroy Palpatine once and for all, I don't know, I just really can't agree with that. Now, I totally understand that many different Force Ghosts are going to become a part of Rey. Such characters like Leia, Luke, Kenobi, Anakin, Yoda, and more that are going to be in the mix that become a part of Rey, hence Luke saying, 1,000 generations live in you now. And that's going to be the big key moment at the very end of Episode 9, and the fact that they dwindled Hayden Christensen's performance as Anakin Skywalker in the throne room battle scene as appearing as a Force Ghost to just actually being a Force Ghost voice, I think is yet going to be another thing that's going to be quite underwhelming to actually go through with in Episode 9. Again, a lot of fans may not understand that it's actually Hayden Christensen's portrayal of Anakin Skywalker, since it said that they gave him a bit of an older sounding design, as if he is now older and wiser, and I think that it's a big risk because many fans out there may not even recognize Hayden Christensen's voice if they actually changed it up quite a bit in comparison to how he sounded in Revenge of the Sith and, Attack of the Clones, you name it. So like I've always said before in the past, this movie really seems like that there have been a lot of bad decisions made by Disney and Lucasfilm, and that things really aren't going in the correct path as we all want it to go. And that's the thing about this movie, is that it does have a lot going for it. It does have the opportunity to mark itself down as the best of the sequel trilogy. Like I've said before in the past, The Last Jedi, in my opinion, hit rock bottom, and now there's nowhere else to go but up, essentially. And that's The Rise of Skywalker. How much further up is the biggest question of all on the table on discussion right now. I think that when we look at Episode 9, it really is going to determine exactly, how the fans are going to look at the sequel trilogy and how the fans look at this trilogy in its entirety on whether or not it's a success or not. Again, Disney and Lucasfilm, they have a chance in order to at least have 2 decent Star Wars films in the sequel trilogy. And now, to me, The Last Jedi just is not an impressive film by Rian Johnson. I've expressed this numerous times, I know that, and that's just my opinion. If you guys like that movie, that's perfectly fine and okay and all. But when we look at The Rise of Skywalker, it really does need to perform well. It has to impress fans. It has to really hit the fans emotionally speaking to the point where they're going to be talking about this film for years on end, just as we did with, of course, Revenge of the Sith or Return of the Jedi or any of those Star Wars movies. To me, Episode 3 is the best of the prequels, and also Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back, is the best of the original trilogy. That's just how I view things, at least. So with this, it does still have that chance to be the new Revenge of the Sith, if you will, where that was the best film of the prequel trilogy because of the amount of hate that it got back then of Episodes 1 and 2. This could very well be a very similar scenario if they play their cards right, but so far it seems like that Disney and Lucasfilm, and especially Kathleen Kennedy of all people, they aren't really playing their cards correctly, at least in the very ending of Episode 9. This third act really seems like the fact that they combined all 3 different endings together into one big ending was not a good choice to go through with, and it just makes it feel convoluted and just a little out there. Now, with Episode 9 on the horizon, we're obviously going to be getting more interviews by JJ and others. The premiere, by the way, is coming up on, I believe, December 11th, if I'm not mistaken, over in Japan. Correct me if I'm wrong, but on December 11th will be the premiere of The Rise of Skywalker over in Japan. I'm pretty certain about that, and it's going to be quite interesting to see exactly what the reactions are going to be like going out of that movie, and exactly what's going to be trending on Twitter and all different types of social media like Facebook, and some days later where we're going to get official reviews on Rotten Tomatoes, by the critic score and how that's going to compare to the audience score. I think it's going to be another interesting experience as well. So with that being said, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to morning.